Hello, welcome to another Blender tutorial, I guess. I guess not really a tutorial, I think it's more of a me just doing my thing while I kind of narrate over it. I'm going to be making a lightning cannon from Star Wars Galaxies. It's a pretty simple model. It's a whole bunch of cylinders combined together to make a, well, you can see it. So I started with a circle with 20 vertices, and I put it in the right spot according to my reference image, and I extruded it over. And I duplicated this one, and I scaled it inwards on the, or outwards on all the axes except for Y, and then scaled it properly on the Y axis. And I did that same for the next one, just adding some loop cuts here for better lighting. And I'm gonna do my bevels for the edges. That was kind of a too rounded edge, so I changed it. Do a bevel with two segments. It looks better than one segment. And I'm just taking a look at my reference image, trying to figure out how exactly I go about making the next thing. So now that I've figured it out, I'm going to duplicate a not duplicate, but make another circle, and I'm gonna build the cross section of it, and then extrude that out. So now I have that rounded top. I have that rounded top, and then all I have to do is bring those down and connect them. And I'm gonna spend a little bit more time making them look better. Now I'm adding a cut down the middle, and now I'm gonna go and extrude. Actually, no, that was just a little bit too high on that bottom vertice. So I went extrude, and then I inverted the normals because they were backwards. Now I'm trying to make the little indents on it. But I decided not to do that. I decided to leave that to the texture because it just didn't look right. Just didn't look right. I decided to leave it the texture. I mean, doesn't look bad, but not really what I was looking for. Now I'm going once again to all my edges, doing the bevel. And then I decide, no, that just looks horrible. Let's redo that whole thing. It's all about trial and error. And then I had another idea to make it look better, but as soon as I did it, I was like, that does not work at all. That is way too many faces made. And I'm going beveling everything up and giving it a nice hard edge. Just taking a look at references. I'm going to skip over that thing underneath the piece I just made because I'm not sure what that is. I actually went in game and took a look at it before I came back and finished it. Still not 100% sure what it is, but I figured out the shape. I just added another cylinder, put it in the right place, scaled it, gave it its bevels. Now making that square piece that sits above it with the incline. And that one's pretty simple to do. Just take a box, put a loop cut through it, and pull the other edge down. Now making this other cylinder that they connect to. Then I'm going to go and bevel up the box I just made. Took me a little bit to figure out how I was going to go about doing that, but I eventually figured it out. I'm going to go and make the stock. I do believe this is this first stock I made I was unhappy with, and I'm going to go back and fix it later. So trying to get it to look just right, and my idea was instead of having two different pieces, I would just take the top of the stock and keep on extruding it. And that I don't like that 90-degree angle there on the like as if you just took that piece out. So I decided to like add a bit of a curve, but it just didn't turn out all that great. So I decided to scrap it later. Going back and just fixing up some things, adding some loop cuts for lighting. Still not happy with that. Still just kind of changing it up. See if I can make it work. Then I'm going to go bevel the stock. Now I'm going to go and add the piece that connects to the stock. And that's going to be pretty simple. Just took me a little bit to get the size just right. And adding bevels and loop cuts. And then that's, look, we just a couple of simple shapes and pretty much already have a lightning cannon. Here I had an idea. Later on I'm going to go and make some shape keys so the stock can extend and retract. Towards the end of the very end of the video, you'll see how I went about doing that. Here I'm making the grip. This is actually the second grip I made because I didn't like the first one. And after making the grip, I realized a better way to go about doing it, which I didn't do. It was a huge. I made so many unnecessary faces doing it this way. So I do not suggest doing it the way I do in this video. And I'll put a loop cut down the middle to give that round effect towards the edges. And I gotta extend them out because just scaling them didn't really work, as you saw. Kind of put them in the wrong spots. So I had to drag them out individually. And now I go and I subdivide those faces, which created a whole bunch of unnecessary geometry. I could have just put two loop cuts down the middle, and that would have done the same thing. Don't do what I did. And then I'm going to bevel the top, and then not exactly sure why I beveled the bottom, but I'm sure at the time I had a good reason to. Now I'm going to make the trigger. That's just a simple box with three loop cuts in the middle, and those loop cuts are pulled inwards to give a rounding effect. And then I rotate the trigger a little bit to make it look right. Also fit with the grip, fit with the angle of the grip a little bit more. And you didn't really see it, but if you didn't, this is a whole new session of being in. So I just loaded it up again. I went in game, looked at what that looked like, and figured that out. And then I came back in and made it. And I still had to change it up quite a bit because even though I know generally what it looks like, I didn't have a reference image right there, which I probably should have just taken a screenshot. Thinking about it now, should have taken a screenshot and just flipped the gun upside down in game, took a screenshot, and I like had that off to the side, but I didn't. Should have. Note to self: take. You can take your own screenshots. Here I'm just removing the unnecessary faces. I'm going and I'm beveling up everything again. Now there's one more piece on the bottom of that I gotta make, and a piece that goes above the trigger, which I think I'm gonna be making. Yeah, I'm gonna be making that now. That's pretty simple. That's just a box with a bevel on it, and then I put the trigger like pretty much inside of that bar that goes across, because I thought that would look better than having the gap, the bar gap trigger. Thought it would have looked better to just have the trigger right like pretty much in it. Well, not pretty much, literally in it. Then I put a bevel on it and then scaled the bevels in so they weren't so extreme on the ends. Now I'm just adding that very bottom piece, which comes off the bottom of the one I just made. That's a very simple shape. I'm gonna go bevel it up. And now, yeah, now I'm gonna go back and fix the stock because I was not happy with that. I'm gonna do the same thing where I scale it in and then just pull some of the vertices outwards. Then I'm gonna extrude it out. But first I'm gonna fill those vertices with a face, and then I'm gonna extrude it out. And this time, instead of extruding half of the top half of that, I'm actually gonna duplicate it and make a whole new that all again, but just change it, scale it in a little bit, scale it thinner. And then there you go. You have a lighting cannon. That was a couple simple shapes, and you put it together, and then there you go. I just went and joined everything together, made it one. Then I'm gonna go and just edit that a little bit because looking at it all together, it looked a little bit too low. And we're gonna pull that down a little bit more because that was looking too high. And now I'm gonna go and start UV mapping things after I set the origin to geometry. Sure. And then for UV mapping, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to select a whole bunch of all the edge. For UV mapping, I'm just going to select all of the edge loops and then one down the middle between the two edge loops. And I'm going to unwrap those onto the image here. And yeah, you can just watch. I don't have much to say during this, so. But as you're building a model, you should think about how you're going to unwrap it. So cylinders are pretty easy. Just uh, mark seam on a loop cut at one end and then another end and then one line down the middle, and then it comes out pretty clean. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this, so you should probably just go throw on whatever music you like and enjoy the rest of the video.